folks, Mike from Birdie Stix, and today we're going to talk about shaft flex. We are going to do this for, again, amateurs, entry-level, golf club builders, and most people are formulas, so we're going to go with the easy stuff. So let's get going here. Design. Fit two basic types of shafts for the sake of our discussion. We have stepless steel, which, oops, of course I grabbed a step one there. Stepless is basically a cone with a straight part on the end. So we've got our butt here. We've got our tip. Actually, the tip is here. And starts out larger and goes smaller, 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 smaller. And then I can feel, you won't be able to see in the camera, right about here is where the transition ends. And that is our stepless. And we've got our stepped steel. Now, actually, I tried this before and it showed up pretty good. Now you can, I think, see the steps over there, but I'm touching a step and I think they keep going. There, you might not be able to see. There's step, step, step. These are steps. And they go all the way down again and then stop, and then we have a straight part from here, which actually is about 12 5/8 of an inch from the last step straight out to the tip. Okay, and this has to do with trimming. So my picture right here is really exaggerated, but that's what happens. The question is, well, gee, when I'm selecting golf club shafts, what's the difference between stepped and stepless with regards to play? Well, for amateurs and even for some many good golfers, there is no difference. There's no real difference. I personally play stepless shafts because they look cool. Now, actually, I've just transitioned to graphite shafts, so all graphite shafts are stepless. And steel come in stepped or stepless. You can get either one. So, for example, here's my graphite shaft that I'm currently playing with an iron right now. And it is, again, a stepless shaft. Before, I actually used a steel step shaft. So then the question again, oh, well, gee, what's the difference between steel and graphite? Graphite is lighter. Okay, so as you start to get older, or if you're just not strong, you know, if you're not Wonder Woman or Superman, the steel is a little bit heavier, but it gives you more feel when you play with steel. Your graphite gives you, it's lighter and gives you more club head speed, which means that you can hit the ball a little farther now, so potentially. So now you have to choose between, well, what do I want to do? Do I want the feel? And in particular, a lot of competitive players prefer the steel shafts for their irons. Gives them more feel and control of the ball. Actually, I think I don't have my wedges. My wedges are actually steel shafted, but my irons are graphite shafts. And almost everybody nowadays plays all their woods and their hybrids are graphite shafts. That's just the standard. So, for the sake of our conversation too, for irons, the tip is always going to be 0.370 on either one, and for woods, 0.335. We'll get into that in another video because we're not going to build clubs in this video. Okay, parts. Again, talking about our clubs, this is the butt, the large end, and now the tip is the flat section. This one's about 7 inches long. So, and this is where, when we get into club building, this is where we trim. So every club in your bag is a different length. So your wedges are the shortest, and then as you get to 5, that's longer. 4 is longer than your 5. If you have a 3 iron, for example, or a 3 hybrid, that's going to be longer than. And so we're cutting different lengths. We always cut the tip. That's why this is called a parallel tip. There are other clubs, but we're not getting into that. We're talking about, again, my goal is to talk about our second level stuff, which is high quality name brands, or brands that you may not know that play just amazing. So let's see. When we're looking at the flexibility of a shaft, actually your butt, the thicker part, is the least flexible. Down here, I should use my steel one, is most flexible. You can actually, I can see that bend, so you guys should too. This is important too. So for example, when you're let's say you have all the same shafts, and you're going to make your set of clubs, some wedges all the way through 5. your wedges are going to be stiffer than your 5, and that's just the way it is by design, and that's fine. But they'll all be, let's say, the same, regular stiff, or however we cut them, and we'll get to that. Torque. Torque is usually, we talk about torque for graphite shafts. Very, very low-end steel shafts are going to do the same thing, but we never get a torque number. You actually get a number when you start looking at shafts on the internet with regards to torque. What torque is when you hit a golf ball, I'm going to go extreme example. When you hit the ball, your shaft will deflect. That's a big example. It's extreme. This doesn't happen. This is called torque, and your club head will do that. It'll deflect, as it's hitting the ball. So it's how much the shaft itself rotates on a standardized system. 2 degrees is very low rotation. You're talking about a very expensive shaft. You're getting up, I don't even know, maybe $100 or something to get 2 degrees. The maximum that you want to go, I would suggest going up to, is about 6. It's not going to deflect 6 degrees. It's not that, but your 6 is a rotation number that they give. And that's the maximum that you're going to have of a decent playable shaft. You're looking at about probably your $9.95 price point for a shaft of 6 degrees. My son plays these, and my wife plays these. For example, this is the Acer Velocity, and this is a 6. My son's on the golf team at the local high school, and they play great. So all of his woods are basically a 6. That's a safe number. When it brings me to a good point. So when you don't pick anything that's 7 or more, I'm just going to go right there. If the number's like 7, 10, 12, stay away from those. Spend a little bit more money, get something at 6 or lower. Okay, check the sale bin or whatever. In addition, some golf clubs, there's no number for torque. If you look at the commercial grade clubs, that means that you don't know what the torque is, and the manufacturer may not know what the torque is. So if you call them and say, hey, what's the torque on this commercial club or commercial shaft? And you say, well, I don't know, or we don't have one. It's because they're so inconsistent that they just don't even mark them. And that's an important thing too, inconsistencies. As you go down the food chain, when you start buying club or golf club shafts in about the $3 price point or $5 price point, what's going to happen? Those are commercial grade shafts. They're very inconsistent, and what happens is, even if you're a new golf player, it's not about it's about the player, not the clubs. However, yeah, there is some reality to better equipment. I mean, I don't want to drive a Yugo at the 24-hour Le Mans and try to win my class. It's just not going to happen. So what happens with a low-end club? They're made inconsistently. So when you get your value price club and you assemble it, let's say you just close your eyes or whatever, you glue everything together, epoxy and all that. When you're done and you go to play it, and you've got now 10 of these clubs or something in your bag that you've made, and you swing your number 8, and let's say the ball goes to the left, and you swing your number 9 and the ball goes to the right. Well, what happens is those clubs are made inconsistent. They flex and they're all over the place, and it may not be you, the player. It may be the club actually flexing in different directions. So by going up just a little bit in the food chain, and I will share with you, I said $5 clubs. There are some clubs that I like. For example, some of the value priced irons, the regular FSTs, that's an iron that I love to use. The low end FST, I made a special tool. I'll show you in a different video for laser balancing the golf clubs, and I found that as I was balancing the FSTs, even they're not even the pro models, it was like, wow, these clubs are so consistent. They are so consistent that I don't even bother with balancing those anymore. So if I want to make some steel clubs, and whoever I'm making them for is okay with it, I just use an FST, and I don't even waste my time balancing them because they just work out. Now, that's not to knock any other brand. It's just the brand that I have the most experience with, because I think value for dollar, that's just the one that I fell into. Flex standards. There are no real flex standards. So True Temper, FST, Apollo, Acer, each company, their regular is going to be slightly different. We're not going to go into it. They're going to be similar. That's okay. If you break it down and you get a supercomputer and start doing tests, yeah, you're going to see differences. Don't worry about it. Find something you like. Start from the standard point. Just go from there. Shaft flex. Okay, golf clubs. When you play golf, they bend. When you and the flex makes a difference. So the most flexible, junior. Next, least flexible, ladies. Amateur and senior are the same. Senior has an S, so now that's called amateur because the S will conflict with the stiff, and that's okay. So amateur, and then regular, and then stiff, and then extra stiff. Extra stiff is your least flexible. That's going to be your Tiger Woods or something. So let's look again at our chart. 70% of people plus are going to fall into normal categories. If you're building clubs for a junior, 12 years and under, start with junior flex shafts. You're building for a woman. This for me is a little tricky. If I'm building for my mother-in-law or my mom, for example, I'm going to go with the ladies. If I'm building for my wife, who is 18 to 55 in that big range, I might actually go with an amateur because she's stronger than, for example, my mother-in-law. For men 18 to 55, we're going to go with the regular flex shaft. For competitive teens, might go with, or competitive men or competitive women, maybe a stiff. It depends. And X is extra stiff with pros. Tiger Woods, Chichi Rodriguez, Arnold Palmer. Those guys. Well, probably not now. When they're in their heyday or whatever, they're all playing with extra stiff. Brings me to an interesting point that I don't have documented here. For younger folks, I'm going to say, if you want, I think we did talk about that. What's the difference between playing with steel and graphite? Steel gives you better feel for the ball. So let's say, for example, my son, who's a competitive team, and me, before my last set of clubs, I would play with steel shafts on my irons. And I personally play with regular steel, and my son plays with stiff steel. But now I've switched to a graphite head. Steel gives you more feel, graphite gives you more club head speed. Club head speed gives you more distance, so you there's a balance there. Which one do you want? Value for dollar, steel actually plays better, I think, than graphite because you can get a high quality steel shaft, you can feel it. But again, graphite is actually typically lighter, I should say typically lighter than your steel shafts. So round down. If you're not sure which flex to go to, round down. If you're a guy, you're 60 years old, and you say, well, it's my first, I'm starting to play golf, and I saw this guy playing extra stiff, and I want the same thing as him. Bad idea. Very bad idea. Round down. Go with amateur. Worst case, go with regular. Don't go with the stiff. It's going to hurt your wrists. It's going to hurt your fingers. It's a fact of life. Right now, yeah. As you start to age, wrists and fingers are important. Off light. Didn't make a chart here. Your stiff golf club shafts are going to send your ball low when you play. Your regular, for example, is going to send it in a mid-flight. Getting the ball up in the air is real important. Now, let's say, especially for ladies and seniors, you want a high ball flight. And you're going to see this in the charts when you start picking shafts. High ball flight gets you overstuck. Just gets the ball to where you want it to go. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. We're formula. Start with a formula. Go from there. And that's our presentation. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hi, folks. Thanks for watching the video. We greatly appreciate you partaking in our activities. And if you enjoyed this video, please like down below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified of each new video that comes out. We also have a website which includes links to each of our videos and our golf club tools for Android and soon to come out Apple devices. So that's birdiestix.com, 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 birdiestix.com. Thank you.